Hola, clase. ¿Cómo están? In this video, we're going to learn how to make comparisons with nouns. So if you've always wanted to say that you have less time than your friends or more money than your mom, you can do it. You'll never have more chocolate than I will. ¿Están listos? Ready? Here we go. Vámonos! In this video, I'll give you the Spanish equivalents for more and less or fewer. We'll learn an exception with numbers. We're just going to work with nouns, things that you have right now. We'll add complications later on with adjectives and adverbs, but for now, let's keep it simple. In English, we can say that we have less than or fewer than, and Spanish has equivalents for those words, menos and que. Here's an example. Como menos helado que tú. I eat less ice cream than you. I don't like ice cream. So, como menos helado que tú. The structure is really very similar to English, so that makes it easy for us. Más que is equivalent to more than, and here's an example. Como más chocolate que tú. You can have the ice cream, I'm getting the chocolate. I eat more chocolate than you. Notice the accent on más. If you take the accent off, it changes it into a different word. So again, it's pretty parallel to English. Como más chocolate que tú. Let's try for some practice. Here are things that I eat more of than my husband. And the first one here, naranjas. La profesora come más naranjas que su esposo. We'll change from naranjas to something else. So let's take the naranjas out of the sentence. And you'll put something in there instead, a different word. Ready? The naranjas are gone. How about the tacos? I eat more of them. So what would your sentence be? What goes here now? La profesora come más tacos que su esposo. If you'd like more time, just remember to pause the video. Do you remember what these are? Calamares. La profesora come más calamares que su esposo. I love fruit. La profesora come más mangos que su esposo. Pretty easy, right? Works just like English. Ahora, ¿quién come menos? This is stuff that I eat less or fewer of than my husband does. La profesora come menos yogur que su esposo. Let's take the yogurt out of the sentence. And in its place, you'll put the other foods that you see pictured. Ready? ¿Qué es esto? Do you remember? Pan. La profesora come menos, goes right here, pan que su esposo. You already know I don't like ice cream, right? So I eat less of that. Do you remember the word for ice cream? Helado. La profesora come menos helado que su esposo. La profesora come menos galletas que su esposo. La profesora come menos mermeladas que su esposo. Oh, I eat fewer olives too. No one eats more olives than that man. You ready? Do you remember the word for olives? La profesora come menos aceitunas que su esposo. How was that? Not too hard, right? Now let's compare some things that people drink. In this case, ¿quiénes beben más? Who drinks more? ¿Los adultos or los niños? And this first sentence is, I hope, true. Los adultos beben más cerveza que los niños. More beer than kids do. Let's try some other beverages. Los adultos beben más leche que los niños. Do you think that's true? Or do you think adults drink less milk? If you think it's more milk, you keep the word más. But what if it's less milk? Do you remember what the word is? Menos. Los adultos beben menos leche que los niños. ¿Quiénes beben más? Jugo de naranja. If you think it's adults, los adultos beben más jugo de naranja que los niños. If you think it's less, then swap the word más for menos. ¿Quiénes beben más agua? I think it's probably adults. What do you think? Los adultos beben más, what goes here? Agua que los niños. How about vino? Los adultos beben más vino que los niños. Sometimes in English we make comparisons with nouns at all, like, I work more than my dog does. In that case, you don't have to put anything at all between más and que, just like we don't put anything between more and than in English. I work more than my dog does. Trabajo más que mi perro. You can do the same thing with menos que. Put nothing there at all, just like we have nothing in between less and than in English. I have lunch out less than my son does. Almuerzo fuera menos que mi hijo. Let's try some practice with that too. Let's practice saying whether these people do the activities that are listed more or less than I do. Ready? Los novelistas escriben more or less? What do you think? Más que yo. That's their job. They write. Los españoles tapean. What do you think? More or less? Más que yo. Los perros hablan. Perros are dogs. Menos que yo. Los gatos trabajan. Gatos are cats. Menos que yo. We have one more thing to add, and that's a little tiny exception to más and menos. We learned about más que and menos que, but there's one exception. The exception is if you put a number afterwards, then your que changes into de. Tengo menos de $10. I have fewer than $10. That's so sad. Let's recap what we learned in this video. We learned that in English, you can say more than and less or fewer than, and Spanish has equivalents for those, más que and menos que. We learned that we can squish más que and menos que right up next to each other if we just want to say more than or fewer than with no words in between. And we learned one more thing, that in Spanish, when más que and menos que come right before a number, the que's turn into de, giving us más de and menos de. We'll do lots more practice in class. Hasta la próxima clase. Adiós.